Hey guys, welcome back to the Patty Martin Real Estate Group YouTube channel. My name is Adam Wachtel, and we are here with Patty Martin for the March 2023 market update. Patty, how's it been out there for the past 30 days?
Well, there's definitely an uptick in activity, still not very much inventory. So it's creating lots of demand and many more multiple offer situations if properties are priced correctly.
Yeah, it seems that we've been saying that for the past couple months that if you are a seller and you're thinking about making a move in this market, come give us a call because we have the experience to successfully and help you make confident decisions to get to where you want to go. And our sellers that have put their houses on the market in the past couple of weeks have seen that uptick in activity. There's no question about it. A couple of our houses have had 40 groups through. Um, our townhouses are getting 20, 30 groups through the open houses. So they've been busy.
Yeah.
The first thing that the news release says here on the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver is home prices across Metro Vancouver's housing market showed modest increases in March, while new listings remained below long-term historical averages. So
That's right.
they seem to be bang on with that.
Yeah.
If we're looking at sales activity over March, so sales in the region totaled just over 2,500. Now, this is a 42.5% decrease from March 2022, which we know was like just getting to the peak.
Yeah.
But this is what I find more interesting is that it's 28.4% below the 10-year seasonal average. And to me, that's a more important stat to gauge where our activity is, because when we're looking at a typical market, last year was not a typical market.
No, it wasn't. This year is not a typical market either.
No, it's not. But when we're looking at something to reference, looking 10 years back, it does give you a little bit better perspective because those markets were a little bit more consistent year over
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
When we're looking at prices, what have we seen in terms of our listings, or even our buyer that can speak to that as well, for pricing out there?
Very stable. Like we talked about, there's a slight uptick in certain properties if they're well priced and in a multiple offer situation. We'll see a bit of a premium paid. But hey, buyers going in a multiple offer situation understand that they're paying a premium to get it. They get that.
Yeah, they do. I think they also understand that, there's not a lot of homes available. Like I have a couple buyers looking for 1-bedroom condos in specific regions of Metro Vancouver. And, it's been 10 days since a new property has come up.
Mhm.
So we've gone out, we've put on bids. It's been a multiple offer. We've unfortunately lost. So now we're one of however many people were in that multiple offer, moving on to the next new listing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you price sharply, like you just said, it can create a multiple offer situation and a favorable price for the seller. The board has come out and said prices are down 9.5% since March 2022. That's Metro Vancouver as a whole. But they're actually up 1.8% since February 2023.
Interesting. So down 9.5% from 2022. It seems a little off because I guess it's so product specific, right? So this would be
Yeah,
an average, and nothing is average right now. So in certain areas of the market, we have almost in terms of the price. In other words, over almost equal to or over 2022 price. And other areas, we're seeing a distinct decrease. So it's when the average is it skews the market or skews the information so badly for people trying to figure out what's going on in the market. So your little buyer in 700,000 range is struggling to find something and fighting in multiple offers for everything they know.
they're sitting there wondering, well, where's my 9.5% decrease? And you're not seeing that. Year over year, we're seeing a price gain for that specific type of
But
property.
if you head over, 2 million, let's say in our Richmond market, not much is happening. So the minute you take it over that mark, there's a whole lot of property. I did an evaluation the other day and was showing someone, if you're under 2, look what happens. If you're over 2, you're one of 12.
Yeah.
And then suddenly that's hard to sell, right?
Well, yeah, you're hitting a higher interest rate. You have more property transfer tax. You need that much higher of an income to qualify. So there are fewer people looking for that specific type of property.
Yeah.
One of the things I think is still very true in this market today is that sellers need to see where they're going before they're going to list the home. And the comment that the real estate board is saying is that below average sales and new listing activity continues to suggest that sellers are awaiting a more favorable market condition. I would not say that this is a unfavorable market for sellers right now. I think this is a great time for sellers.
I know. I wouldn't either. And we've done several of these, purchase something subject to a week and a half, get the house on the market really fast, and sell it in time to remove subjects on the purchase that they
so they're going to secure their purchase before they put their house on the market.
We've done it successfully. Oh gosh, a number of times this year.
Yeah.
Because as long as people understand value and what the price should be, their house sells.
Yeah. Yeah. Right now, it's key to drive traffic. Absolutely.
Yeah.
When we're looking at listings to the market, so all property types newly listed for sale on the MLS in Metro Vancouver in March 2023, there were 4,317 new listings, 35.5% decrease compared to this time last year. And it was a 22.3% decrease from this 10-year seasonal average. So not really a surprise there. It's going along with everything that we've been saying for the past few months. Listings they're low. They're starting to kind of pick up a little bit. We've seen a little bit of increase into that spring market. But when you look at the graph, and I'll post a picture, as soon as you get into that spring market, most years it spikes. And
it spikes in May. If you look at May is the top of the peak every year. If you just, it's just crazy. And that's what I'm telling sellers right now. Gosh, guys, it's way better to sell when there's no one competing against you. It's way easier. And given that we can see that peak in inventory every May consistently for many, many years, your risk factor is fairly low that you're not going to have something to buy yourself. It is somewhat of a risk, but it looks pretty safe.
Right. It's this year it's more of like this just general gentle curve of listings. So we're not seeing that big spike. It's we
don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We're still a couple
weeks. The other thing is we're not in May, and we haven't seen, we've had a really long, cold winter. There's the whole idea of spring is in the air hasn't arrived yet. And so I think that's affecting people's ability to make a decision or to even fathom making a decision. So, I think we've yet to see that jump in inventory, but, I'd be very surprised if it doesn't happen. Very surprised.
When we're looking at the total number of homes listed on the MLS, when you look back at some of the stats, this is the 4th month in a row that we are below 9,000 listings. Mm-hmm. Right now we're at 8,617 listings of all property types on the MLS. This is an 8.1% increase from March 2022, but 17% below the 10-year seasonal average.
So there were there were less homes in total for sale in March of 2022, is what you're saying. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, and that seems about right. And that's why we saw the price increases that we did. So there's a real line that people draw in the sand right now for how high they'll go above in terms of an asking price, or whether they'll even pay it. We had a listing last week where we had, between the open houses and the showings, we had over 60 showings. Goodness, Andrea sent me a picture of the shoes at the front door during her open house. And there was quite it was like Nordstrom's. And so if you think about that, and then at the end, we only had 2 offers and neither of them were full price.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of buyers out there that are they're eager to get into the market, but they're sitting back because there's still a little bit of uncertainty on their end. So in a couple of days, the Bank of Canada is going to announce a rate decision. We know fixed rates are connected to the bond market. The Bank of Canada's interest rate decision will affect more variable rates. Do people wait? Do they wait 6 months? Do they do something now? And that, like, there's still uncertainty on the buyers, but they know that real estate in Vancouver has been a safe bet in the long run. And I think our overarching message today, aside from, if you're a seller, get your house on the market because there's not a lot of competition, is that real estate is no longer, I say this for the past couple of months, but real estate has kind of switched from being a commodity where it's bought and sold fairly quickly because the market was on its way up. And now real estate is more of a traditional buy it and it's sit on it, renovate, hold it. And we have some numbers to go over, but real estate is kind of coming back to that traditional, it's my home first mentality.
How long have I been preaching that to you, Adam?
Oh, ever since I started working for you.
Yes.
Ever since I started working with you. So in BC, these are some interesting numbers before we get into that topic. So there was a net migration in 2021 of people coming into BC. So there was 100,000 people migrating into BC in 2021. This is the highest it's been since 1961.
Wow.
We know that the federal government from 2023 to 2025 is trying to target 500,000 people to come into the country every single year. So annually, 500,000 people. This is the fact here that always tells me that real estate in Metro Vancouver is going to be a strong position. In BC, 635,000 workers are expected to retire between 2021 and 2035. And so that's going to mean labor shortages.
Yes.
And that's across all industries. So right now we know from CMHC that we need to build upwards of 100,000 homes a year just to meet equilibrium. And the most we've ever built is 48,000. Now we have 635,000 workers of all various types that are going to be leaving the workforce. So how on earth do we expect to build this many homes if we don't have the supply, but the demand is still there because 500,000 people are coming to Canada? Tell me which way for pricing housing is going to go. It's only going to go one way.
It has to.
It's going to go up.
For sure.
It's going to go up. And even when interest rates remain high, I mean, fewer people might not be, or more people might not be able to get into the market because interest rates are high. It makes it more unaffordable, but that means they're in the rental market. Now your rental market gets more competitive.
Yeah, for sure. Adam, what was you quoted a stat, 10-year price.
So the 3-year change in pricing for all property types in Richmond, it's up 30.3%. And if we look at the 10-year percentage change, if you bought a house...
I'm not pissed. I'm on this number. Yeah.
Yeah. If you bought a house in 2022 or
2012.
2012. Yeah.
That.
I can't do math all of a sudden. You're up at 91.7%.
Long term. Always long term.
And if we look at Metro Vancouver as a whole, I mean, I have every municipality from so Bowen Island, Burnaby East, North and South, Coquitlam, Ladner. It is hard for me to find anything everywhere is above 80% price gains in 10 years. Most of them are actually in the 90%. It's only West Vancouver that 10-year change is up 48.9%. But their price points,
Yeah, their price point's so high that, that's that's in itself, right? Like somebody told me the other day that they were considering getting out of the market. They're in their late 60s and they were just going to rent now. And I was like, what? Like, you're too young.
Yeah.
Like you get out of the market, you might live 20 years. Look what happened in 20, look what happened in 10.
Yeah, even if you downsize and pull money off the table to
No
fund your
problem.
retirement,
No
continue.
problem.
Real estate is still an
Oh,
investment.
still,
Real estate is still an investment.
yes, for sure. But not, again, I'm not in favor of using real estate like a commodity. Like I'm going to make money in 3.5 months, or you can, or 2.5 years, and I'm suddenly going to flip it. And aren't I smart? And isn't this wonderful? It doesn't always work. It has for a while, and that's why people have engaged in that activity. But it won't always work. But it will long term. And we've always said that a market really needs about 7 years for you to realize the true value of your increase in value.
Wiser words have not been spoken. Wiser words have not been spoken. I think that's a lot of information for today's or for March's update. Do you want to leave our viewers with any other wise words of wisdom if you're buying or selling in this market or thinking about real estate?
So here we are, sellers coming into the end of April. We know May is going to be where we see the biggest increase in listings. We do know that the interest rates, the long-term interest rates are dropping. So that's helping the buyers right now. So yeah, I believe, I understand when sellers are trying to make sure they have somewhere to go, but we have a great plan that works every time. So call us.
Wonderful. If you want to reach out to myself or Patti Martin, there's going to be a link in the description below, along with our website. Reach out for some trusted advice that is tailored for your specific situation. I can't stress that enough. This is a general overview, but if you want to talk about your situation and what you're trying to accomplish, reach out and we will talk about how you can achieve your goals.